1시간 정도 기다렸고 충분히 기다린 것 같아서 그냥 집에 가.
We think this is racism.
It definitely could be. Like, I can't necessarily say what those people were thinking, but like, it's possible. 70 minutes is crazy. But like, normally I go to McDonald's every morning to get a coffee. Normally it takes like 2 minutes. One day they had like a new staff and it took literally 35 minutes for me to get a black coffee. It was crazy. But I have never waited 70 minutes. That is crazy. Does racist stuff like that happen in America? It absolutely does. So it definitely could be.
So I read their Google review. This is one of their reviews.
Went to McDonald's on Monroe Ave. Pickup line was 25 to 30 minutes in the drive-thru. No one knew what my order was. It is possible that it's just like incompetence, especially like if you have like an incompetent staff combined with like a really busy day. It's possible. Another thing I'll say in America that you don't really see in Korea is that people who work, I don't know what the word would be, but like McDonald's is considered kind of just like a shitty job, right? So like if you work at McDonald's, a lot of people, they don't care. You know what I'm saying? They don't work hard. They don't care if the customer is satisfied. And that's like kind of like a concept that like Korean people find hard to understand. And that's a big problem in America too. And in part that's because like we treat low wage workers bad. They're paid very small amount. They don't get like good insurance. They're not respected in society. So like they're kind of like, well, you're treating me bad, and why am I gonna, treat you well? And that's a whole deeper thing into like why it's important to treat everybody in your society with at least like a baseline of like respect, and that respect could mean like salary, healthcare, like everything, right? So you have a lot of workers in America who just have bad attitudes, who just don't care. So that could be part of the factor. It could be that and racism and a busy restaurant. It could be like any combination of those things, but 70 minutes is crazy, and she should definitely complain and make a stink out of it, because that's bad. It's like it's unacceptable, whether it's racism or whatever it is,
So I sometimes get similar treatment, but I'm always confused. It's so hard to complain because even I'm not sure. It's that subtle.
So it's like, that's the tricky part, is like, there's not really proof, right? There's not like hardcore proof that would hold up in a court of law, right? But like, I guess if you live here long enough, or you live in a country where you get discriminated against long enough, like you develop an instinct. You know what I'm saying? Like you can kind of pick up on subtle details of the way people look at you or the way they speak to you. But like if you're like traveling here from Korea, or you haven't been here long, it might be very hard to tell. But even if you do, like, you can tell, there's normally not proof. Obviously blatant racism happens too.
So let's say I can tell this is racism. How should I respond to that?
Ooh, I mean, it's really up to you. Like, you could definitely file a lawsuit. Some people might get violent, and like, who am I to tell you not to? You know what I mean? Like, I'd be pretty pissed off too. So, especially if it's like an employee of a company says something obviously racist to you, and if you get it on camera or you have a witness, definitely file a lawsuit. Like, a company like McDonald's doesn't want to be accused of racism, but it depends what you want out of it. You know what I mean? You should not just take it.
So what if I don't want lawsuit, but I just want to say something to them?
I mean, am I allowed to cuss? Like, yeah, if someone said something racist to me, I would curse. I would say all kind of rude, mean things. I would say one thing I wouldn't do. I wouldn't like return the racism back, because then you kind of lose your standing. But like, I would say pretty much everything else I could think of.
Like, just like this McDonald's. Let's say you're an Asian and you went to McDonald's and they didn't serve you for 70 minutes. What would you do?
Well, I like what this girl did, because she made a video about it. She has kind of like some documentation, So I think she did a good job. Yeah, make a stink about it, make a video.
So there is another video. I'm gonna show it to you.
Asians in one corner, and it's all white people on the main seating area.
I mean, it speaks for itself. And like we were saying earlier, there's like subtle racism and then there's like overt racism. Subtle racism is like the most common one you deal with. Back in the day in America, restaurants were literally like segregated, like Jim Crow laws. Basically like certain restaurants, like if you were black, you couldn't even go there. The big thing was like the water fountains. There was like white only water fountains, black only water fountains, right? After that law was abolished, many people still try to segregate, but like they just have to be more creative about it, right? So yeah, don't be naive to it. Like it happens.
How would you deal with the situation?
Like just question, like don't even confront anybody unless you have like a little bit of evidence, you know what I mean? Even if it's just like circumstantial. But then like if you want to confront them, yeah, and then like have your facts ready to go, have your questions ready to go. Like, okay, well then why this? Why that? Really, everyone here is Asian and everyone there is white? That's like quite a coincidence, right? So like in Korea, is it racism? Is it xenophobia? Like there's a lot of places where they'll have like no foreigners signs. It's happened to a lot of my friends complain about it where they try to go to a bar and they'd be like, no foreigner, no foreigner. It happens, right? Like it happens everywhere. Have you had anything like really bad happen to you?
So many times people came up to me and say random Chinese or Japanese words, never Korean, but like konnichiwa or ni hao, whatever.
If it's a little 5-year-old comes up to you and says like konnichiwa, it's like he's just a little kid. And if you're a little kid, some ignorance is understandable, you know. But if you see like an older person come up to you and say konnichiwa, maybe they're just ignorant, but there's like a much better chance that they're like being a little bit like racist. Yeah, again, that's a little bit of a gray area. If a little 5-year-old comes up to you and say konnichiwa, you could either just let it go, or you could say, I'm from Korea, you know, we say 안녕하세요, can you say 안녕하세요? Something like that, right? If an adult comes up to you and says that, honestly, I don't have much patience for adults saying stuff like that. Adults can say, like, I'm Korean, I don't say that.